Disillusionment, by very definition, means that you're no longer living under an illusion, that you're forced to face reality. Well, that's what box thinking causes us to do a lot of times, to face reality. And we're forced to do something. Either make our box larger or think outside the box. Most of us have difficulty getting outside the box, so we make the box larger. But folks, we'll never build a box big enough to hold who God is. Another thing that causes a lot of confusion is we apply natural law to the spiritual realm. So we try to equate the two. I find these things that work in nature. Can someone give me a natural law right off the top of your head? Gravity. What? Gravity is a natural law, okay. Everything that goes up must come down. Another natural law is for every action there's what? An equal and opposite reaction. And those aren't natural laws. The every action has an equal and opposite reaction is sometimes also called cause and effect. For every cause, there is an effect. There is no effect without a cause. So, that creates confusion for us too, because we find in the spiritual realm that, wow, that doesn't fit real well. And so we're forced to do one of two things: change a natural law, which would be unnatural, or modify the spiritual. And what we end up doing is modifying the spiritual. And again, that creates confusion for us because it just does not make sense to us. Okay. You with me so far?
Isn't tradition and box thinking kind of the same?
They can be, Ron, but not necessarily the same. A lot of things we put in the box comes from our tradition with no real rhyme or reason. Biggest question I saw in your essays was this: why is there suffering? I think 70% of you raised that question. Why is there suffering? Others of you phrased it different ways. Why are there inequities in life? Why is there unfairness in life? However you wanted to word it, it basically comes down to answering that question. And isn't that really the biggest question that most of us in our life have? Why is there suffering? Why do bad things happen to, quote, good people? Now, well, I'll address it in just a minute. And the biggest assumption that is made is this: if God is, and I'm just going to abbreviate these, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, in other words, if He's everywhere at once, if He has all power, and He's all-knowing, the biggest assumption we make is, well, why does He cause this? Joy.
It's a little bit risky for me to say this, but I was going to, because I am a believer, I actually just talked about this yesterday with a friend of mine. There's a lot of scripture that'll tell you, it'll say things like, well, first, I don't believe anything that happens doesn't happen without Him ordaining it for some reason.
Okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
You can ask anything. Oh.
Christmas time, actually. Cousin of mine, his sister is, she's still lost health issues. She's been praying for him. Not the answer. His sister was more
Okay. We make an assumption then if this indeed is who God is. Anyone disagree that he's omnipresent, that he's everywhere at once? Or that he's omnipotent, that he has all power, or that he's omniscient, that he knows all things? But if we jump to the conclusion then, why did God cause this? Now what caused us to jump to that conclusion? You what? People, okay. Actually, what causes us to jump to that conclusion was part of what causes our confusion. Applying natural law to the spiritual realm. For every cause, there is an effect. There is no effect without a cause. Correct? And so we make the big assumption that God is the cause of all of this. Now I'm going to write two words up here, and you tell me the difference between them. The first word is the word cause, and the second word is this word, allow. What's the difference between those two words? Do what?
If you choose to have him do anything, then he's not the reason it's happening.
Okay.
But then,
If he is the cause, then he initiates it, does he not?
I was just gonna say, if he sees it and doesn't allow it and doesn't do anything to stop it, then he's.
But if he allows it, then he is not the initiator, and someone used the word, there is purpose behind it. Very good answer. Now I want you to remember that no matter what religion, you can take any of them, any that we've studied so far and any that we're going to study in the near future, all views in any religion of a supreme being are anthropomorphically centered. In other words, you and I, as finite people, have trouble grasping the infinite, and therefore we attribute to that infinite finite qualities in our struggle to understand, to explain. Let me tell you, there are some things that are unexplainable. If you've never run into an enigma like that, hold on, you one day will. But we make a gross mistake when we try to say, okay, God has got to be all of this, because that's my understanding of it from my perspective, from my realm. So all religion, I don't really care which one, is anthropomorphically centered. How does Hinduism explain suffering? Karma